Come on. Well,
All right, Mike.
hey, Tim.
So open up that slide. We're going to speak about the language of negotiation.
Okay.
Mike loves it when I kick into something where we're completely unprepared.
Yeah, I just don't know what's coming next. Let's see. So here's the blank slide.
Well, the slide does say it all. It says win-win, win-lose, win-lose-lose, and so the ideal world in any negotiation is win-win, right? And win-win is kind of it's a buzzword, a platitude. I'm not sure what you would call it, but it's something that everybody says, and everybody knows. Yes, win-win. We've got to get to win-win. But we were always kind of, concerned that it's not actually very actionable how to achieve it. Anyway, our hit list, our concept of tradables combined with the BATNA gives us an approach to this. So let's have a look at what happens next. So that circle represents the scope of the negotiation. And as you're going through your hit list, you're defining the things that you have to achieve and the things that you really want to achieve, and then your tradables as well. So if you click next, you're going to find the things that, that line in the middle is kind of the line where we're going to end up compromising and end up coming to an agreement. Yeah. So if that cake in the middle represents the entire negotiation scope, then that line represents that final agreement and where we're finally going to cut that cake. Yeah. Hopefully it's going to be in the middle so that it's really equal. But that's where that is. Click again. These things that are coming out around the outside are what are called tradables. And the intention of these things around the side is that these things are going to actually increase the scope of our negotiation. So one more click should give us the entire scope of what is there. And let me just see if I've got some annotations here. No. So in the middle, on the top of that line, we've got the things that they want to achieve, intend to achieve, and have to achieve. On the bottom, we've got the things that we really want to achieve and have to achieve as well. Now, this is what's probably going to happen. This is their bottom line. So this is their have to achieve level. This is our bottom line. And we're going to meet somewhere in the middle. Yeah. And if we're only concerned with this scope, then what's going to be the result? It's going to be compromise. And compromise, what is that? Win-win, win-lose? Basically, it's lose-lose, right? Because the word compromise means we both give something away. And that's not what we want to happen. And so our tradables come in as a way of changing that. If we bring a tradable in here, then that changes the scope of what we're trying to achieve. If we bring a tradable in here, a smaller tradable, which is more manageable, then that changes the scope. If we bring another tradable in here, then over time, we're going to actually really make that cake bigger, which means when we start looking at the final agreement is going to be according to a bigger scope. We're both going to walk away with more, or at least that's the theory. But these tradables are things that have to be prepared, and preparing for them is absolutely key. So, Mike, what about the language of negotiation?
Yeah, so the language of negotiation, we highlighted it in phase 3 of the negotiation process, because of course that is when you make the proposals and that is when this language comes in. The key concept with any negotiation is the idea of reciprocation. You can't just ask for something without giving anything in return. And if they ask for something without giving anything in return, you wouldn't accept it. So you have to phrase things in a way that seems like an equal balance of give and take. So we come out with the language, if you, then I, or then we. So if you, then we. If you do this for us, we will do that for you. So there's two important points here. The first one is, as I said, language of reciprocation. We advise that you should effectively never offer to give something without asking for something in exchange for it. But the second point is the order. When you put it in this order, if you, then we, that's a strong statement. You're making a statement. If you do this for us, then we will do that for you. If you flip those around, if you say, look, we'll do this for you if you do that for us, it's much, much weaker. It's much more of a request. And when you're making a request, you're putting yourself in a position of weakness. So always make sure that you say it in the order. If you do X for us, we will do Y for you.
And I think in one of the first videos as well, I mentioned that it was surprising how few times people really internalize this and get prepared for the negotiation in terms of tradables. Yeah. Getting prepared for the scope is clear. Getting prepared and thinking about what we have to achieve, and very often what they have to achieve, is clear. Getting prepared for the things that we intend to achieve on our side and sometimes on their side is also clear. But preparing for those tradables is not something that comes naturally to people. People simply don't do it in a conscious way. So we recommend that you're always thinking about these tradables from a perspective of not doing it alone. Yeah. So you want creativity in this process. You want to have discussions with your teams, with somebody else to say, you know, what can I put on the table that is not a part of scope? It really is outside. It changes the deal. It changes things. It makes it bigger. It's something different for us to speak about. And that's what a tradable is really aimed to do for us.